Ah, my goodness, man. I don't even, sometimes when you start a show and you just don't have the words, honestly, guys, I just don't have the words. What's up to the chat gang? Shout out to Knicks Nation. Shout out to the chat gang. Yes, we are live. This is the post-game show. This is the post-game show for Game 3 versus, This is the post-game show for the Knicks against the Celtics, Game 3. It was brutal in so many different ways, man. I mean, honestly, we're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down. But I'm at a loss for words. Honestly, I am at a loss for words. That was brutal. That was brutal to watch. That was brutal to watch what the Celtics did to us. That was brutal to watch what the Knicks even tried to do out there. And honestly speaking, the Knicks didn't have it tonight. They didn't. From the first quarter, we were already down 16 points. Then at halftime, we're down 25 points. Starting off the third quarter, early on, we're down 31 points. Going into the fourth quarter, we're down 26 points. You see the theme there? We weren't close. Not close for the entire game. They beat us down from the first quarter to the end of the fourth quarter. It wasn't close. The closest we got this game in the fourth quarter was to 20 points. Credit to Jalen Brunson, to Mikal Bridges, some of the other guys that we had out there hitting shots. But honestly speaking, we're going to break it down. For that entire game, almost nobody had it going offensively and defensively. Even though there were times and moments the Knicks had it going, honestly, the Celtics got whatever they wanted, took advantage of everything, and they understood the assignment. One of the main things, and we all saw it, we all knew it, going into Game 3, they understood they needed to stop shooting as many threes and started to need to attack inside a lot more. And that's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did, including Jaylen Brown, who was a monster in that first quarter, attacking a lot. But I know the question you guys have, because if you watched the game and you're looking at the score sometimes, and you're looking at how the Knicks were basically beat down for the entire game, you're thinking to yourself, where did it all go wrong? How did the Knicks end up this way? Where did it go wrong for New York in this situation? And honestly, if you watch the game, there's one situation for New York where we just couldn't close the gap. 20 threes made. 23s. The Celtics hit 23s. And that gave them 60 points. 60 points off of threes. Some of those threes were extremely open. You want to know where the Knicks lost this game? You want to know why the Knicks weren't even close? Why they were essentially blown out of this entire game? It was because of how they were guarding the three, not really guarding the three, and allowing the Celtics to basically shoot whatever they wanted. Payton Pritchard off the bench lit the Knicks up. Lit us up. He was open from three. When he wasn't open from three, he was still hitting shots. The good news that the Knicks have to hold their hat on, what we have to look at, because we're going to break down everything. The Knicks are still up in this series, 2-1. Did we lose this game? Absolutely. Was it embarrassing? Absolutely. Were we blown off the floor? Absolutely. There were a lot of negatives from this game. We're going to break it down. We're going to talk about all of them. But bigger picture here. The Knicks are still up 2-1 on the reigning defending champions. Game 4 is still at MSG. So we still have a chance to make good on this series and still go up big, still take a commanding lead. So we have to keep that in mind and understand where we are. Right now, it is clear. If the Knicks won Game 3, it wouldn't have been a series anymore because no team ever comes back from 3-0. Now, we have a series on our hands. It may have not happened the way we wanted it to happen, but this is where we are. The Knicks lead this series 2-1, but we did drop game 3 in embarrassing fashion because the Boston Celtics absolutely dominated us. We're going to break down how the Knicks lost, why the Knicks lost, and how the Knicks got in this situation where they allowed the Celtics to shoot this many threes and essentially get shot out of this game and shot out of the gym. We're going to break down all of these latest things today. If you're enjoying the content, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure you have notifications on as well too. If you want to get more content like this, if you want to make sure you're available for all the new videos that we're dropping, all the lives that we have going on, each and everything that we're releasing on this channel, each and every day, you're going to want to make sure you're subscribed to the channel. So please make sure you hit that subscribe button because it could really support all the great things that we're creating for you each and every day. And now, without further ado, let's get started. The Celtics' hot shooting is too much for the Knicks to handle in game 3, and they lose this game in the playoffs and drop it to the Boston Celtics. Like I said before, guys, it was an embarrassing effort. I mean, from the first quarter, it was just a brutal watch. Honestly, if you guys watched the full game like I did, I feel very, very sorry for you. Because from the first quarter, you knew what type of game it was. The Celtics showed you what time it was. It looked like a blowout, but because of what the Knicks did each and every game previously, when they were down so big, you never stopped believing. At least I never stopped believing. I always had the belief, the faith, that if the Knicks kept it close, if the Knicks kept it at least between 12 to 15 points going into the fourth quarter, we would give ourselves a chance. And I'm sure a lot of Knicks fans believe that, given what the Knicks have done in game 1 and game 2. So even though they were down big, I don't think anybody stopped believing. But let me say this, because I think it's something important to say. And I want to say this before I jump to the chat, get your takes on the game, and then we're going to jump into the post-game, talk about what happened during the game and everything like that. But let me say this. It was brutal for those of us at home watching the game, watching what the Celtics were doing, watching the embarrassing effort the Knicks were putting out there. But imagine you're at MSG, one of the best arenas in the league. And you can call me biased if you want to. I don't care. You can ask non-New York people. Most people will put MSG as one of the top places to play basketball. Now imagine that is your home. You play home games there. That is where you have home court advantage. The tickets to get into this game, I mean, they range from about $500 to what? $7,000-$8,000? You're talking about some people's rent money, some people's money to go to the doctor, to do these things that are important for them, vacation money. They're spending to go to MSG, and that's the effort that they get. That's what they get to see. The Boston Celtics shoot 23s. That's what they paid all that money to see. It was a poor effort, poor performance. We can talk about the defense in the first quarter. Sure, there was some defense there in the first quarter, but they ended the first up 16 points. They ended the first half up 25 points. The Knicks at halftime had 7 assists, 7 team assists. Where's the cutting? Where's the ball movement? Why is it so heavy isolation play? And why are we trying to dribble till late in the shot clock and then pass the ball? Act like that is ball movement. It's not ball movement. You're not creating for anybody. You're looking for your own shot first, and if you don't have it, you're trying to make something else happen. That is completely different than moving the ball around the perimeter, finding the best shot and taking it. And sometimes, Josh Hart, when the best shot is available, they don't take it. It's a hesitation move, or he's catching the ball and he's looking for OG Anunoby or somebody else. And honestly, when you look at everybody tonight, that first half, you know how normally in the first half, we'll say, well, this person did really well or this person did really well. We'll give somebody the half. The first half, there is no star player for the Knicks. None. Zero. You want to give some credit to Karl-Anthony Towns? Sure, I'll give you that. But honestly, the first half, the star of the first half was the Boston Celtics, their three-point shooting, their ball movement, and their defense. That was the star of the first half. It was embarrassing. Embarrassing to watch. Brutal. Brutal. Where is the ball movement? Where is the effort? Where is the team defense? Where is it? Why did we wait so long to really communicate as a team to try to get in the game defensively? We cannot think that we're always going to pull off these miraculous fourth quarter miracles each and every time. It's a miracle for a reason, because it's not going to happen every time. That's why we're in disbelief when it does happen, because it shouldn't happen, but it is. I'm glad the Knicks can win that way. I'm glad we have that in our back pocket. But can we be up for any game for at least 10 to 15 minutes? Can we try to do something like that? Can we try to be in games, lead games, be the one that has the 20-point lead, and then can carry that lead throughout each and every quarter? Can we be that team? Do we always have to be the team that fights and claws and tries to get their way back into games like that? Can we not be that way for one night? Embarrassing. Embarrassing effort from all parties around, from everybody who was out there. And we're going to break it down. We're going to break down the team stats, because trust me, when I say the way the Celtics shot the three ball is a problem, let me tell you why before we go to the chat. Let me tell you why. The Celtics combined in the first two games of this series, 25 for 100 from three. Tonight, they made 23s in one game efficiently. I'm not going to ruin it for you, because I'm going to wait till we get to the team stats to break down exactly what they shot, how many threes they put up, and how efficiently they shot it. And the Knicks, how many threes we put up. It was abysmal, by the way. Abysmal shooting and abysmal amount of threes put up. And the amount of threes is skewed a little bit because of what we did in the third quarter. Credit to Jalen Brunson and Deuce McBride making it a 20-point game in the fourth quarter. It was Jalen Brunson 3, Deuce McBride 3, and Jalen Brunson 3. You want to know how I know that? Because it was the most exciting time of the game. I wrote it down. And for that to be the most exciting time of the game, oh, and by the way, a late Jalen Brunson lob to Mitchell Robinson in the third quarter. That was good as well, too. Got to write that down as well, because we don't see it a lot. We don't see it enough. Imagine, by the way, what would that look like? What would that look like if we did it a little bit? A Mitchell Robinson lob from Jalen Brunson. Do you think it would look up really good? Because in my opinion, the way Jalen Brunson fakes already, uses his body to attack, don't you think if he used the lob a little bit more, that maybe he could fake out a lot of people and get to the line a little bit more? Because I think he could. Especially the way that Mitchell Robinson's catching that lob. So there's not a lot of bright spots from this game, but if you want to look at it, they tried to respond in the fourth, couldn't do it, got cut off because miracles don't always happen. And the Jalen Brunson to Mitchell Robinson lob, the fact that they're using the double big lineup a little bit more, the fact that they went to Mitchell Robinson and Preston Achiuwa late in the first half because Karl-Anthony Towns was in foul trouble, which we'll get to. And we'll talk about that. And we'll talk about why that's such an issue, especially when he has it going. So all of these things are factors here, why the Knicks lost this game. But you don't have to look long. This postgame will not be long, by the way, because, again, it is very simple to point to why we lost the game. It's threes. It's threes. It's threes. They shot 23s and made them. That's 60 points. 60. That's how they won. You're not beating a team like that. You are not beating a team like that. And I'm not saying they were terrible on the boards, but when you're a good offensive rebounding team as well, too, and you can shoot the ball from three like that, what are you going to do? What do you expect somebody to do? What do you want? You can't win games like that. The defense is not good enough. You can tell me whatever you want to say. Oh, well, they tried. They tried to run 2 shooters. That's why Payton Pritchard was open for like four threes. Derek White in the corner open for 3 threes. Jason Tatum off a screen open for 2 threes. Yeah, okay. Right. We're going to forget about those though, right? I'm not going to forget about any of those. Call it like you see it. Anyhow, let's go right to the chat. Let's get your take about the game. Are you as mad as me? Do you agree? Do you like the game? Do you hate the game? What things stood out to you the most? Let's get your take about everything that we saw here tonight. Go to the chat real quick. There we go. Okay. All right. Let's see. Mothman Evolved says, how many uncontested? Yeah. Mothman, I don't know how many uncontested, but it was a lot. We can't lie either. It's a poor defensive performance from New York. The main difference, I thought, from defense from the Knicks, you know, in game 1 and 2, when the Celtics were hot from 3, most of the time, the Knicks wings would scramble defense. They would throw a body at the shooter. So that way it wouldn't be a clean look. And I know I've said it before. It may not sound like a lot, but a body in front of you versus nothing in front of you is different. And the Knicks were doing that more in games 1 and 2. They completely abandoned that in game 3. I mean, they played drop coverage on Jason Tatum. You saw that, right? Karl-Anthony Towns backed away from Jason Tatum shooting the 3. From Jason Tatum, who was on a heater the entire game. You can't do that. You can't. You got to read the situation a little bit better. That goes back to Karl-Anthony Towns picking up those fouls. Like, he picks up some silly fouls. He goes for a rebound among 4 different Celtics. Even if you get the ball, what's going to happen to you? You got to be a little bit smarter. Let's see here. Corey says, no effort. We got to win game 4. Yeah, game 4 is a must win. Game 4 is a must win. Mothman, you nailed one of the things I'm going to talk about with OG Anunoby. So Mothman, he says, you guys can read it on screen. He says, OG looked lost as well tonight. OG Anunoby was a ghost. Didn't he get his first points in the third? His first points came in the third quarter. I wrote that down. Hold on. Let me write that. Let me get that information. I know I wrote that down. Where is it? Yeah. First points for OG Anunoby in the third quarter. 7-minute mark. He scored his first points at the 7-minute mark. And when you look at his offense, he barely did anything tonight. Barely did anything tonight for New York. Eddie says, add skinny white boy with his little virus. He's a joke. This guy should dominate. He's the best big man in the league. What a joke. And a 40-year-old backup. That's why they win, because we have no, you know what? You can read it on screen. Al Horford should not be dominating. Al Horford should not be the one. KP and Al Horford, man, I mean, they held it down. They were blocking a lot of shots inside. And let's give credit where credit is due. The Celtics defense, way better than New York's defense. Way better. The second quarter, I hate saying this, by the way. I don't even want to say this. The second quarter probably was the best stretch of basketball that I've seen Boston play throughout this entire series. The best. Offensively, everybody was firing. Defensively, they were monstrous. If you even went inside, they would attack you, dominate you, trash you down. It was amazing to watch. Honestly speaking, I mean, and I'm just looking to see if there's any updates. I mean, it was crazy, honestly. Joe White says, LOL, shaking my head. I tell you, Knick fans say every dang game is a must win. Only must win is when we are about to get eliminated. House money, Knicks in 6. Listen, we can talk about it as in it's not a must win. Excuse me. Let me explain to you why it is a must win. There is no such thing as house money against the reigning defending champions. The Knicks are up. Yes, we're up. That's great. We were up 2-0. Now we're up 2-1. That is great. We're not supposed to be here. But that's awesome. However, just because that's the case doesn't mean it's house money. No. There's no playing with house money. We had a chance to go up 3-0 on the reigning defending champions. We didn't execute. We didn't do what we needed to do. We failed. And we need to make sure we acknowledge that. Because we didn't execute it. If we had, How many teams come back from 3-0? Teams can make it a series, but last I checked, no team has come back from that. 0. That's where the Knicks want to be, where history is more favored. Now it's 2-1. Now we got ourselves a series, a bigger series, a more series than anybody would have thought if the Knicks had won game 3. But now we got to look ourselves in the mirror and see what happened and kind of see, where we go from there. And, one things I wanted to mention, and I said it at the top of the show, one of the main reasons we lost was the 3-point shooting, but it was also the way the Knicks was playing defense throughout the entire game. You don't get dominated like that unless you're not playing defense properly. The amount of miscommunication, not talking out there, the switches that were late, I mean, too much space on these threes. I don't know what you expect anybody to do. How can anybody be better? How do you want anybody to get better if you're allowing so much space on threes? It doesn't, I don't understand. Like I said to start the show, the MSG crowd deserved a lot better. All the money they spent for those tickets to watch that game, I would demand a refund. I would demand for all the crowd in game 3 to be the same crowd for game 4. So you can give them the game you actually deserve to give them. Because look at the ticket prices. I mean, my goodness, you're going to ask people to pay the same prices again after that effort? I mean, what do you say to that? How do you answer that question? I mean, MSG is one of the best places to play basketball, and we gave that effort there. What do you say? Last comment, then we're gonna jump into the rest of the show. Nicole Curry says they need to bring it, but always a first time for everything. I mean, the road teams have done very good this postseason. Don't ask what's in the Red Cup. You guys, long-time listeners, long-time watchers, you guys know exactly what's in the Red Cup. There's always the first time for everything, but listen, the Knicks getting beat at home is not first, especially not in the postseason. We've seen it happen already. We've seen it happen against Detroit. Does home court matter? Because to me, it matters. Getting home court in the postseason matters. The Knicks stole home court. That's so important. That's so important to understand. Now, did they completely lose their advantage? They didn't. They didn't completely lose their advantage because they still have game 4 at MSG. If they win game 4 and they go up 3-1 going back to Boston, I have faith in this team on the road to close out Boston because New York is undefeated in the postseason on the road. I will give them all of the faith, the praise, the credit that they need going into game 5 if they're up 3-1 on the road, because that's the team that they showed themselves to be the entire postseason. So I'm going to put my faith in that and trust what they have going on. But going back to tonight's game, why did we lose tonight's game? There's so many reasons. We're going to break down all of the multiple reasons why the Knicks lost this game. But the main reason, the absolute main reason the Knicks lost this game was 3-point shooting. Really lack thereof in terms of 3-point shooting. When you allow a Celtics team to make 20 threes, maybe half of them uncontested, you're not winning. When you allow a Celtics team to dominate you defensively, make you second-guess shots that you're going to do when you're inside the paint. Mikal Bridges, if anybody saw him in the second quarter, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Goes inside the paint, looks to make a shot, and then last second passes it. Out of nowhere. He does it twice, by the way. Does that same move twice. Have no idea why he does it. I've never seen him do it before. I never want to see that happen again. But that's what happens when the Celtics defense is all over you. And you know when you feel somebody coming at you, but you don't see them? That's what Mikal Bridges was feeling the entire second quarter, because Jaylen Brown was attacking him on both ends and suffocating him, or at least trying to on defense. Every time he had the ball and tried to lose him on a screen, he would go over the screen, under the screen, but still find his way back to Bridges to make that shot difficult. You have to give the Boston Celtics credit where credit is due. The three-point shooting was off the charts, phenomenal. They dominated. They deserve credit for that. But their defense was elite. From the first quarter to the fourth quarter, they played defense. They were blocking the Knicks shots. Look at the fourth quarter, mind you. How many block shots did we see in the fourth quarter? Al Horford blocked Mitchell Robinson. I believe Al Horford blocked Karl-Anthony Towns. KP blocked Karl-Anthony Towns. The amount of blocks from the Celtics bigs was insane. The defense from the first quarter, and then it going into the fourth quarter like that. The defense we've seen from the Celtics for the entire game, that's what you call complete defense for 48 minutes. They played it differently as well, too. We didn't see as many block shots in the first half, but we saw a lot of elite defense, a lot of great stops, and a lot of them trying to prevent the Knicks from trying to penetrate and create inside. And then on the other end, in the second half, what you saw them trying to do even more was force the Knicks to shoot even harder shots. Make them take more difficult shots on defense. And that made all the difference in the world because he thought the Knicks had a shot at that point, but they really didn't. They really didn't. The Celtics played them extremely well. And the block shots that we saw more in the second half, I thought was clutch for them. It made the Knicks really hesitant to drive inside, and it made them more of a jump shooting team, trying to find their shot outside or a little bit, trying to find their shot outside or a couple of feet away from the paint, not inside the paint. The only person that was really attacking in that second half was Jalen Brunson. Karl-Anthony Towns, and a little bit of credit to Mikal Bridges. But other than that, those were the only three Knicks that came to play in terms of offense. But when you're getting hurt on the boards, when you're not out rebounding your opponent by a lot, when you're getting shot out of the gym on three, when you're embarrassing on defense, not only three-point defense, transition defense, mid-range defense, any defense, when you're poor on all of those levels and your opponent is superior, you're not going to win. You're going to get blown out. You're going to get destroyed. And guess what happened? We got destroyed, ladies and gentlemen. Final score, Knicks 93, Celtics 115. This is what you call a blowout. We got blown off the floor. 22 points. 22 points. It almost doesn't sound real. The Celtics beat the Knicks with the final score of a lead with 22 points, which doesn't even reflect their largest lead of the game of 31 points. But the biggest problem, and you see it there already, Payton Pritchard is a game leader. Payton Pritchard, not Jason Tatum, not Jaylen Brown, not even Kristaps Porzingis. Their bench player. Their bench player. Their X factor. Payton Pritchard is a game leader. And by the way, he deserves it. He absolutely deserves it. I'm not going to give him any bad things. I have no bad things to say about his play. Nothing. But the fact that he's a game leader should be a disappointment to New York. Not only because what it reflects for the Knicks bench, which is we're not getting the same type of production from who we need it from, which is Deuce McBride. But on the other end of that, besides the Payton Pritchard part, it's also the fact that we allowed him to get so many open looks anyways. So the Knicks drop this game, and we have Payton Pritchard as your game leader with 23 points, 8 of 16 from the field, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. But he shot 50% from the field because a lot of those baskets were uncontested. And it shows you not only a problem that we have with our bench, but also with our defense. Look at the quarter-to-quarter breakdown here. The Knicks only won. The Knicks only quarter that they won was in the fourth quarter, where they got 23 points to the Celtics 19 points, where the game was already out of reach. But every other quarter, every single other quarter, the Knicks were beaten. The Knicks were beaten in every other quarter by a lot. 36-20 in the first quarter, 35-26 in the second quarter, 25-24 in the third quarter. So a lot closer there. And then the fourth quarter, 23-19. But again, when you're down that many points already, you can't keep the game close. You have to be more involved. You have to be more in the game. You have to be able to put up more points. But the Knicks were not able to do that. All they were really able to do is kind of stay in the game with the Celtics. But at that point, the game was out of reach. And we all kind of saw that. And I'm just at a loss for words, guys. I really cannot believe the performance that we saw tonight from this Knicks team. From all the things that you could expect, all the things you would expect to see in a game 3. They know how important of a game this is. The first game in front of an MSG crowd for this series. This is probably the biggest game in MSG that we've probably seen since the 90s. Let's think about that for a second. Against the Boston Celtics, think about the rivalry, the history. And that's the performance that we put out there, where the Knicks never lead. We never led. It was a wire-to-wire victory for the Celtics. We never led in this game. I told you before, down 16 points in the first quarter, 25 points at halftime, 31 points to start off the third quarter, 26 points to start off the fourth quarter. We get it close to 20 points, and we still lose by 22 because we cannot play defense. We can't guard the three. They're shooting lights out from three. Open shot after open shot. Can't stop Payton Pritchard. Can't stop their ball movement. Jason Tatum's getting open off of screens. Jaylen Brown is a madman. He's attacking inside. Al Horford, as old as he is, you still can't leave him open from three. You leave him open from three, he's going to hit it. He still hits a couple of threes. And Kristaps Porzingis, even though he's sick, his defense was still very good. And I think we have to give him credit for that. You're not going to see a lot from him on the box score, but if you look at what he was doing on defense, he was really bothering a lot of the Knicks players inside. He was making them alter their shots or change their shots because of his size and because of his shot blocking. The Celtics defense, they came to play. It was no joke. They were not letting the Knicks even breathe. And even when they were up that many points, they still continued to play just as aggressively because they remember game 1 and game 2. They were up big and they lost those games because they took their foot off the gas. Credit to them this game. They didn't do that. If anything, they put their foot even more on the gas. They did not second guess this Knicks team. They knew how dangerous that we were, and they understood the assignment. Win game 3. They did their job. But let's not ignore that the Knicks still did our job. We took 2 games from the Boston Celtics. We are up 2-1 right now. We're talking about this game. So I know people are going to kill me in the comments saying, well, we're still up this, we're still up that. I know that. I'm still happy that we're up. I'm happy that the Knicks are up 2-1. I'm not upset about that. That's a good thing. But this is a post-game show, is it not? It's a post-game show for game 3. So I have to break down the game. And the game that we're breaking down was abysmal. It was terrible. It was awful. So I got to break it down and call it like I see it. So that's exactly what I'm doing. It doesn't mean I don't have faith in this team. And it doesn't mean, like I'm saying right now, that the Knicks are not still leading this series. We are still in the lead here. Yes, we dropped this game. Yes, it's embarrassing. Yes, we didn't do what we needed to do. We already broke down some of those things, and we're going to continue to do that. But we're still leading this series. We are still the team that has the lead here. And we are still the team that still has a game in our home court. We still have home court advantage. Game 4 is still at MSG. And as long as we utilize home court in the right way, utilize that MSG crowd in the right way, that's your 6th man or 7th man if you want to give the 6th man to Deuce McBride. Either way, We have to use the crowd. That's the factor. That's what home court is about. We need to start utilizing them, because if we do, I think the Knicks can really pull out another game, pull out another victory, steal another game, and go up 3-1. We haven't lost home court. We haven't lost home court advantage yet. Game 4, New York has to come. They have to show up, and they have to win that game. It's a must win for them, because going up 3-1 on the road means a lot more than the series being tied 2 games apiece. We all understand that. The Knicks still have a chance to make the Celtics worry, but game 3 was an embarrassment. Again, there's really no other way to talk about it. It was brutal to watch. It was a brutal game that was played. It was embarrassing. We talked about why the Celtics did it, how the Celtics did it. Let's talk about what the Knicks stars did. Let's talk about what these 2 guys did with Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. Now, it's not only on them. Obviously, when we break down the full player breakdown, we're talking about everybody else, but we got to talk about what the stars did. So Jalen Brunson tonight played 40 minutes, 9 of 21 from the field, 3 of 8 from 3. He gave you 4 rebounds, 7 assists, and 27 points. Karl-Anthony Towns played 36 minutes tonight. Man, he was really awful tonight from in terms of his offense. Karl-Anthony Towns, 5 of 18 from the field tonight, 1 of 5 from 3. I think we all remember that 3-pointer from the first quarter. It looked great, but that was the only one he was going to hit. Although he did injure his hand. I don't know how much that's going to bother him for the rest of the postseason. We saw him grabbing at that hand a few times. He had 15 rebounds and 21 points. So that was Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson tonight. Although I will say that Jalen Brunson really didn't have it going in the first quarter. Jalen Brunson really got it going more in the second half. That's where we saw JB turn on. It's not like that's really anything surprising. Sometimes we see that happen. Jalen Brunson not really have a big first half, but turn it on and have a really big turn it on and have a really big second half or really big third quarter and fourth quarter. And I think we saw that from Jalen Brunson tonight, but we need to see more of a complete game from New York. We need to see a 48-minute affair. And the crazy part is, and I think I'm going to keep saying it, you haven't seen the best Knicks offense yet. This Knicks team has not shown you their best offense. Karl-Anthony Towns, he can play better. Jalen Brunson, he can play better. Our stars can play better. Our team can play better. Everything about what the Knicks can do can actually be better. So if you're watching the games, that's encouraging, because New York, this is not what they do. There's another level they can take it to. We haven't seen that yet. And I think once we do, the Celtics won't know what to do with that. But right now, we're not getting there. We're not getting the contributions that we need from really all over, all around. Karl-Anthony Towns struggling, not only in terms of getting in foul trouble, which we don't need, because when he gets into foul trouble, it ruins everything that he's doing. It ruins his rhythm, ruins what the Knicks are trying to do. I mean, there was a point in there where they had Karl-Anthony Towns and Achua out there, but because of foul trouble, they had to put Mitchell Robinson and Achua out there. Now, listen, I mean, it wasn't terrible. I mean, the defense was okay, but if you're asking me, how often would I like to see Robinson and Achua share the floor together? I probably wouldn't vote for a lot of minutes, because I would rather see Karl-Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson out there, because we've seen what that lineup can do already. We see what it can do on defense and on offense. So when Towns picks up those quick fouls, it really, really hurts New York, because he goes to the bench and nobody on the team can really replicate what Towns can do. Nobody is as gifted as Towns is, especially at his size. So Towns has to have a better understanding when he's out there of the fouls to take, the fouls not to take, and understanding where he is on the floor. Maybe if you see somebody blowing by you, don't take that foul. He's already going to get the points anyways. Don't make him go to the line and get another point. Be a little bit smarter with your fouls, because the Knicks need you in the game in order to try to close out any of these games. So Karl-Anthony Towns on both ends, he has to play a little bit better and play a little bit smarter, even though his first couple of defensive possessions against, defensive exchanges against Jason Tatum in the first quarter, I thought were great. I don't think he played bad, but I thought that Karl-Anthony Towns could play a little bit better. Jalen Brunson, like I said, could play a little bit better. This Knicks team will play better. That's the only silver lining that we can look at here. But the Celtics team showed you why they are the reigning and defending NBA champions, because once they have it going and they're cooking from three and their offense is cooking, everything looks elite. Their defense looks elite. Their ball movement looks elite. The way they cut inside looks elite. That's why they were winning. Hit threes, you feel good. And when you feel good, everything starts to look easy and effortless. The theme for New York tonight, they work to get everything. The Celtics, it felt like everything that they got came easy. Just way too easy. And we're going to break down the player-to-player breakdown here, the minutes breakdown, talk about what happened, where the Knicks went wrong. You obviously see the team stats there. We're going to break down all of this stuff. But let's first start with the minutes breakdown. So we talked about Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. Obviously, Brunson, 40 minutes. Karl-Anthony Towns, 36 minutes. Mikal Bridges, 38 minutes. OG Anunoby, 31 minutes. Off the bench, you had a lot of players play off the bench, but that's a little bit skewed because of garbage time. We'll break that down. Achua played 6 minutes. That wasn't garbage time. That was really due to foul trouble with Karl-Anthony Towns. Mitchell Robinson played 19 minutes. Huck, 42 minutes, garbage time. Campaign, 8 minutes. You know, he played some minutes off the bench, not too many. Same amount of minutes he's been playing for game 1 and game 2. McBride with 20 minutes off the bench, the most minutes off the bench. DeLon Wright, 3 minutes, garbage time. Landry Shamet, 3 minutes, garbage time. And everybody else did not play, not because they couldn't, just because it was a coach's decision. So those are the minutes breakdown here. Let's go to some player contributions, though. Wingstop. More OG Anunoby than Mikal Bridges, but let's talk about it. OG Anunoby tonight had 1 of 6 from the field. 1 of 6. He had 2 points, 2 rebounds, nothing from 3. He only attempted 2 3-pointers anyways. I mean, OG Anunoby was awful tonight. Awful. Even awful defensively. There were a number of times he got caught on a switch or caught helping a little bit too much. That allowed one of his players to be open from 3. I believe Jason Tatum at one point was open from 3 because OG Anunoby was helping. I forget who he was helping on, but it was unnecessary, the amount of help that he was giving. OG Anunoby did not have it going tonight. And honestly, if he looks like that, on nights he doesn't have it going, Anunoby, he's going to be a detriment to New York. He's going to hurt us. Absolutely will hurt us. We need to do a little bit better when it comes to the Knicks and our contributions from the team. But Wingstop, really more OG Anunoby than Mikal Bridges. I want more from Mikal, but I mean, Anunoby scored his first points at the 7-minute mark in the third quarter. That's not enough. That's not enough. Where's the demon at? Where's demon mode? We need that Anunoby. If we got that Anunoby, this game is probably close. This game is much closer. And maybe if it's close like that, maybe the Knicks rally back and we win it. But we're not going to come through. We're not going to win these games on the backs of Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. That's not going to be enough. We need others to get involved. We need more. OG Anunoby, poor performance. Probably his worst performance of the postseason, if I'm being honest. Worst performance of the postseason from OG Anunoby on both ends of the floor. With Mikal Bridges, he was 6 of 10 from the field, 12 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds. He didn't hit a 3-pointer. I mean, he was really... He got it going in the third a little bit. Really, that was it. Hit a couple of shots in the fourth, but not aggressive enough. Not pushing the pace enough. Was really, really indecisive with the ball in that second quarter. Hurt the Knicks a lot with those key turnovers because they didn't have any idea what to do with the ball. And you can't play like that. You need to be a little bit better, more mindful, understanding what you're doing out there. I didn't get that from Mikal Bridges tonight. And we're going to need a little bit more. Speaking of a little bit more, I'm going to talk about this a lot, I think. Man. Miles McBride. 5 points, 3 shot attempts, 2 of 3 with 20 minutes, and he gave you 1 rebound. Payton Pritchard outclassed the entire Knicks bench tonight. Outclassed them. Easily outclassed them. Scoring-wise, his impact, what he was doing. Nobody on the Knicks has an impact like that, and that's a problem. Deuce McBride should be the counter to Payton Pritchard. He's not. He's been awful. Awful. And even if you want to credit his defense, which at times has been good, if you're only going to get 3 shot attempts up, we're going to need a little bit more, especially if you're hitting most of the shots you're putting up. Why don't you take more shots? I don't think that's only on Deuce. It's obviously what they're running as well, too. If you're not moving the ball, obviously you're not going to be able to get anything going. The Knicks are going to have to move the ball a little bit more. It's on Deuce. It's on the Knicks. And it's on the coaching staff. It's on everybody again. Like I said, you watch this channel enough, you know. I don't really blame one particular party. I kind of spread the blame because it's a team game. So you spread the blame when you need to. But the Knicks bench, awful. Knicks defense, awful. Knicks starters, awful. And when it came to getting contributions, Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson, really, that's it? Some Mikal Bridges, and then really nobody else comes to show up? No one else? We can't get contributions from anyone? How do you expect to win like that? They shot 23s, and nobody else can really make a basket. No offense. They have all the offense and elite defense. Everything is hard for New York, but easy for them. Let's keep it going, man. I think I started off the show by saying I'm at a loss for words because of how embarrassing this loss was, guys. I'm really at a loss for words. I think that really breaks down all of the minutes. I don't think anybody really cares about anything else. I will say something about Mitchell Robinson, though, really quickly. Mitchell Robinson tonight, 19 minutes, 1 of 4 from the field, 8 rebounds, 6 points, and 1 assist. Let me say this about Mitchell Robinson really quickly. I like Mitchell Robinson on the floor. I like his minutes. And I like the way his defense looks a lot of the time. Still makes some mistakes out there. Still late sometimes. Still late on switches sometimes. And sometimes allows shooters to shoot when they have a little bit too much space in front of them. Like Jason Tatum for that 1 pull-up 3. You saw how he kind of went up to him but then stopped a little short. Gave him way too much space. And Tatum saw that and said, okay, I'm just going to shoot. You need to have a little bit more awareness there if you're Mitchell Robinson. I think he will. But in terms of his offensive rebounds, second chance opportunities, battling, block shots, trying to get more possessions for New York, his fighting, all of the things he's been doing, all of the intangibles that you can't really count on a box sheet, you can't really see on the box score. Mitchell Robinson came to play. He's been very, very impactful. Honestly speaking, I think besides some of the stars that get a lot of the highlights, Mitchell Robinson and his defense deserve a lot of credit. He's been very good, very powerful, very good on the boards. I think his switching, all part from some possessions on defense tonight. I thought his switching was very good. His screens have been very good. And I think overall on defense for New York, he's a positive. New York needs to find a way to play him more. I need to see more Mitchell Robinson minutes. I need to see that creep up to maybe 25, 26 minutes a night, maybe. I think that helps New York even more. Now, maybe foul trouble has something to do with it. I'm not sure. Maybe it's recommended he doesn't play more than that. Again, no idea. But if there's no limitations, 26 minutes of Mitchell Robinson makes a lot of sense because that defense, I mean, we need it. We need it more than ever. We don't get enough defense as it speaks right now, and we need more of it given what the Celtics were doing inside the paint and what they were doing outside as well, too, outside the arc, what they were doing in terms of shooting the three. Not saying Mitchell Robinson is going to help that a lot, but in terms of their driving game, you know what they do. They always drive and kick, drive and kick, drive and kick. But if you kind of suffocate them initially, that kick out can be a bad pass, and sometimes more of a readable pass that the Knicks can get in front of, try to get the steal and run in transition. Because just as good as Boston has been in transition, the Knicks are also good in transition if they can become that team. But you need to be able to get easy buckets, long rebounds, steals, deflections, play defense. You need to do that in order to do that. You know why the Celtics were doing that all game? Because their defense was impeccable, elite. Let's go ahead and break down the rest of these team stats here so we can talk about it. Full team stats on the left-hand side of the screen. Number one thing, it should immediately jump out at you. Celtics three-point shooting, 20 of 40. 20 of 40 during this game, 50% from the field. The Knicks, 5 of 25 from three, 20%. 20%. Let me just put the numbers in there for you. 3 times 5 is 15. That's the amount of points the Knicks got from their threes. And then 20 times 3 is 60. 45-point difference. 45-point difference. Nobody had it going offensively. You don't have it going defensively at all. The Celtics are locking you down nearly each and every possession, making you unable to breathe. It was a masterclass defensively from the Boston Celtics. From top to bottom, 48 minutes, from first quarter to the fourth quarter, throughout. It was almost impeccable. They almost never dropped. The defense was crazy. And insane. You got to give them credit. They dominated defensively. They did. All of that. And they have a 45-point difference in terms of three-pointers, in terms of the points you get from three-pointers. And on their bench, they had Payton Pritchard, who is a game leader. Anybody didn't see he had 23 points on 8 of 16 shooting? Off the bench. 23 points. How do you win? How do you win like that? You're not getting stops. You're barely controlling the boards. You're getting outshot. You're not even putting up as many threes. And the ones that you are putting up are contested, bad looks, and not going in. So it hurts your confidence. So you don't want to shoot them anymore. So you're settling for more mid-ranges, and you're settling to drive inside the paint. And they're still hitting their threes. One of the worst performances for New York of the entire postseason. Probably their worst game of the postseason. Rate it if you think so. If you agree, let me know. Do you think this game for the Knicks was the worst game of the postseason for them? I think it was, honestly. But, we can debate that. Field goal percentage, Knicks shot 40%. Celtics shot 48%. I mean, that's near 50% again. They shot near 50% from three and from the field. Almost impossible to beat that. From free throw percentage, the Knicks shot 68%. Celtics shot 88%. Rebounds, the Knicks won barely 43-42. Offensive rebounds, the Knicks won that battle 17-12. Defensive rebounds, the Celtics won that 30-26. And my favorite stat. My favorite stat. You guys know it. I talk about it every night. Every day. Team assists. Celtics have 23 team assists. 23. And the Knicks, 17. We had 7 in the first half. Nobody had it going. Nobody was moving. Nobody was cutting. And it was dribble, 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 dribble into the paint. Dribble, 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 dribble. Try to make something happen. Dribble, dribble, dribble. Last minute pass. Every time. Every time. It was poor in terms of the ball movement. Absolutely horrendous. And even though we passed the ball and moved the ball a little bit more in the second half, it was not enough. Not even close to being enough. 17 assists as a team. Excuse me, 16 assists. Not even 17. 16 assists. I apologize. 16 assists as a team to their 23. It's terrible. We have 16 assists to their 23 assists. You can't win games like that. You cannot. Not the Knicks. Not this Knicks team. How can this Knicks team win like that? How? Explain it. Excuse me. How can a Knicks team win like that? It doesn't even seem possible. $16 assists on the night against 23 for Boston. You have to do better, New York. You have to move the ball. You have to move yourselves. You have to cut. That's New York Knicks basketball. That's how we play. That's how we win. That is how we do everything. Why would we abandon that now? Why move away from what got us here in the first place? Isolation doesn't do it. Why are we doing this to ourselves? We make the game harder. We make the game harder for ourselves when we don't move the ball. Last couple of things here before we go to the chat. Not even the largest. Let's look at the amount of blocks here, actually. Look at this. This just tells you the defense that the Celtics are playing. The Celtics have 8 blocks in this game. The Knicks have 2 blocks. 2 blocks. And many of those blocks, that came in the fourth quarter with Al Horford, with Kristaps Porzingis. That's what we're talking about here. This is the defense that the Knicks were having to face the entire game. It changed a little bit, but it was always elite for 48 minutes. That right there, what we saw today, was a complete game from the Boston Celtics. And honestly, that game from them is a championship level game. You play games like that all the time, you are going to win every game that you play, or at least have a chance to win every game that you play, because it is phenomenal. Phenomenal what Boston was able to do. I hate the Celtics. I do not like them. I want the Knicks to bludgeon them each and every single game. Trust me when I say that. So me giving them credit right now is like throwing up in my mouth constantly. I just want to make sure we're all understanding where I am. But I have to give credit where credit is due. To the Green Demons themselves, I still need to give them credit. They did what they needed to do. They took game 3. They did it in their way, played their game, executed it perfectly, did exactly what they needed to do. And the Knicks did not do what they needed to do, did not execute at all, was poor all game, absolutely was not prepared or didn't seem prepared, had no game plan, and was outclassed, embarrassed, and outplayed the entire game. The box score says that. The eye test says that. if you watched the game, you watched the highlights, whatever you watched, all of that can tell you that instantly. That's how easy this game was to call and how horrible it was to watch. This game was over by halftime. And if you watched past that, if you checked out in the third quarter, I can't blame you. 31 points, can't really blame you if you checked out a little bit in that third quarter. And maybe you woke up after the 3 consecutive threes from New York, cutting it to 20, only to go back in a complete slumber when it goes back to 26. I'm there with you all the way. I rode that ship too. Absolutely understand exactly where you guys are. New York did not show up tonight. They didn't. I'm not going to make excuses. The Celtics were the better team today. They showed it. They proved it. They showed why they're the NBA defending champions. And they showed why this is going to be a series that if New York wants it, if they want it, they're going to have to prove that they want it by coming into each and every game and treating it like it's a must win. There's no gimmies in the postseason. There's no freebies. You win or you lose. The Celtics are down 2 games right now to New York. Series is 2-1. New York is still up. We still have faith that the Knicks can win this series. I know I do. Shock the world. That's the type of time that I'm on. And I know the Knicks will be able to do that. But if we play games the way we played today, it is going to be extremely difficult for the Knicks to be able to achieve that goal, to get that dream. The defense, the 3-point defense, what we allowed them to do inside, outside, how they abused us, how they embarrassed us defensively, offensively, with their bench. All of that should never happen again. New York should play better because they are due for an offensive juggernaut game, just like we saw from the Celtics. And maybe, just maybe, the Knicks played their absolute worst when the Celtics played their absolute best. Maybe in game 4, that flips. And we see the Knicks play their absolute best and the Celtics play their absolute worst. The series is not over, ladies and gentlemen. Last I checked, it was still 2-1. Embarrassing loss? Absolutely. Should we be very angry? Absolutely. You want to criticize the team? You want to criticize the Knicks? You want to criticize Tom Thibodeau? I'm there with you. Absolutely. I'll join you. I'll be there with you. We can do all that. But the one thing we won't do is say we're out of this series. The one thing we won't do is say that we're not going to win. No. I'm not going to allow any of that. We lead this series 2-1. We are up in this series right now. It may not be the way we want it to be, but we're still up 2-1. We still have home court, and we can show everybody that we have it by winning game 4, taking it and being up 3-1. We've always been a better road team anyways. Why not close out Boston at home and silence that arena? The players already said it. They much rather silence a crowd than hear the cheers. So if that's what they want, let's give them that game anyways. Now they have it. Win game 4, silence them at game 5, shock the world in the process, and make everybody understand that this year, when everybody said it wasn't our year, they secretly didn't understand. It was. They just had to be patient and watch as we made it our year. We're not out. We're definitely down. We're down a lot. We're down bad right now. They beat us down. They beat us badly. We're bludgeoned. We're bleeding on the floor right now. But not dead, not done, not finished. We're getting up. We're going to see a medic. We're going to be ready for game 4. And we're going to show everybody why this game not only will not happen again, but you're going to see a new game that you've never seen before from the Knicks that shows you why we belong here. And even though in that game, maybe Boston does what they need to do, The Knicks are going to show you what we can do at another level. We're due. We're due. We are due for the big game. That game is game 4. You do not embarrass New York. Leave us lying like that and think we're not going to respond. You punched us in the face. You knocked us in the mouth. We're still on the floor. We're still rocked. Rocked does not mean knocked. Rocked does not mean knocked out. Rocked just means we didn't expect it, even though we should have. You're not going to expect what we're going to give you in game 4. I promise you, worse than I am killing this team, worse than you're killing this team, Jalen Brunson is in that locker room right now, killing this team as he should, because we deserve it. Terrible game 3 performance, but it does not define who we are. The Knicks can define themselves, and the Knicks can define themselves and this entire postseason run with a game 4 victory and a series win. And we're still this close. Don't give up. Just don't give up. It's bad. I know. Don't give up. Believe. More than anything right now, believe. Knicks fans everywhere. Everybody needs that. These players need that. And honestly, we're thinking about the vibes. We need to support these positive vibes. Let's support our guys and understand that moving forward, we're going to give better efforts than we saw tonight. But tonight, it's okay if you're upset with the performance, because I am too. But let's not act that this one game means the series is over. Have faith. We still have a chance. And as long as we have a chance, we're never out. Without further ado, jump into the chat, gang, seeing what you guys have to say. And then we're going to do a quick roundup. 2 topics, 20 minutes or so. I'm going to check. I'm probably going to just check the Twitterverse, see what's going on, if there's anything I should respond to. If you guys have any topics or takes that you want me to respond to, any comments that you want me to talk about, just leave it in the chat. I'll write it down and I'll go through it in my roundup topics for the end of the day. Let's go to Oron. He's a member, obviously, so we definitely got to go to him first. Troy, I'm sad. Embarrassing. What are your thoughts about the Knicks having a chance to make it to the NBA Finals? And also, what content are you planning on doing that is non-playoff content? I'm angry. I've been thinking about the non-playoff content, honestly. It's tough right now because everybody only wants playoff content. And playoff content's really what's doing well right now. So you kind of have to focus on that. What I've been trying to do, though, if you've noticed, I tried to do some, reviewing film sessions. Like yesterday, I dropped the video about reviewing Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson in that final defensive play against Jason Tatum to close out game 2. So you might see a couple more videos like that. You're definitely going to see some more shorts from me in terms of breaking down, game footage, or you're going to see some shorts from me reacting to some different things around the NBA, different things around the Knicks. So definitely keep in mind for that. Keep an eye out for that. All that content is coming. So, I think you've already seen some of the shorts that I've dropped, but definitely keep an eye out for that. I'm always dropping more content. I'm always creating graphics. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. Members, you guys are always going to get, exclusive access to new content when it's available. So there's a lot of things going on right now, but I appreciate you asking that. In terms of the finals question, which I think is a good question, honestly, do I think the Knicks have a chance to make it there? They absolutely do, especially given the fact that we're up 2-1 on the NBA champions right now. I think that's all the motivation that you need. But we need to be able to use home court a little bit more. I don't think we're doing that enough. I think home court at MSG should be special, and we're not using it like it's special. I mean, our record in this postseason enough should show you that. People wasting all that money just to watch us lose in that way. I can't get behind that. Carl Knight, my guy, what's going on, brother? He says, if the Knicks lose this series, Mitchell Robinson will be in the trade block this offseason. Hit your free throws. Listen, I'm not saying Mitchell Robinson doesn't have to hit his free throws. That is an issue. We all know about the hack-a-Mitch. I mean, Joe Mazzulla is a madman, up 31 points, 29 points, and he wants to do hack-a-Mitch? At 29 points up, you're doing hack-a-Mitch? You're out of your mind? What's going on up there? Anyways, I'm not going to even put it out there that the Knicks are going to lose this series. I'm not going to even put it out there. In my head, I think the Knicks are going to find a way to win. The biggest thing about New York has been their perseverance. They persevered through everything, all the adversity. I expect them to do it again. Manny says, what happened to OG Anunoby? OG Anunoby was a ghost tonight, Manny. He was a ghost. He did nothing. Barely nothing. His defense was a no-show. His offense was a no-show. Scored his first points at the 7-minute mark in the third quarter. Absolutely horrendous. There's no other way to talk about it. No other way to describe OG Anunoby's game today. It was the worst performance for OG Anunoby that I've seen in the postseason for him as a New York Knick. As a Knick, going back to last season, probably the worst performance in the postseason. That's saying a lot. It's also saying we're probably not going to see that again from OG. Every time we see something like this, he normally is aggressive and responds. So let us see him respond. I think that's going to be all the comments that we have for right now. The last comment I have is from, let's go back to that so everybody can see it. We got Bunny in here who says, thanks for your perspective, Troy. We got to keep the faith. We definitely do. We definitely do. I mean, it's a debilitating loss, though. I can't lie. I mean, I'm not going to lie about that. It's huge. The loss, the way it feels, the way the Celtics were shooting, I mean, it feels bad. I feel the weight of this loss. Let's say that. I do. I can feel why Knicks fans would be upset about it. But in the same token, we got to understand where we are as a team. We're already up 2-0. And 2 games to nothing, excuse me. We're already up 2-1 right now. We owe the lead right now on the Boston Celtics. It's something to be praised. And we still have home court. And as long as we have home court advantage and we could take advantage of it in game 4, then we did our job as well too. Remember, the Knicks have to battle each and every game to win. They lost this battle, but they're still in this. And game 4 is going to be another test. And I think they're going to be up for that test and give us a huge game across the board. Let's wait on that. As of right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look on the Twitterverse. And I'm going to see if there is anything on the timeline right now that I should talk about in the roundup that I'm doing right now. Let's see here. Let me see. If anybody's watching right now, what I'm doing is I'm checking my my Twitterverse right now, checking all of the things that happened post game to see if there's anything I should respond to or anything you guys should know about right now. Oh, man. This is probably not good with guarding Karl-Anthony Towns and that injury. And I might have to start with this. Oh, goodness. I know you guys want to hear it. Trust me, I will reveal, I promise. But my goodness, that's not good. If it's his hand, that's pretty bad. Oh no, don't tell me that. Don't tell me his hand, man. You guys are watching my real-time reaction right now to the news that Karl-Anthony Towns' hand may need x-rays. Oh, I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. Don't tell me that. Oh, no. Not Towns, bro. Not Towns, man. Come on, man. Oh, wow. This is terrible. If Towns is out, man. If Towns is out, bro. Oh, God. I almost cussed. I almost cussed. I got to watch myself. I'm not by myself. I got to remember I'm live. You guys are watching it legit. Like, this is what I would react to if I'm watching it like this right now. Oh, my God, man. Unreal. I'm gonna break the news in a second. Again, I'm just scrolling through it. Oh, look at these people just laughing. I'm just scrolling through everything right now. All right. Yeah, that is the biggest story that we have right now. Karl-Anthony Towns and his thumb. I thought or hand, really. Let's talk about it. Can I play it? Or this is not even a play. This is just a quote from Fred Katz. Let's see here. All right. So I'm gonna put this obviously into a video. This is, by the way, the roundup for anybody who's watching right now, anybody still here. This is the roundup portion of the show where we just break down a couple of different topics that I don't get a chance to talk about throughout the week. The first one that we're gonna do is gonna be Karl-Anthony Towns because it's the most obvious, and it's okay. So tonight we all saw with Karl-Anthony Towns. There's a number of times, a couple of plays, a couple of hard fouls. We saw him grab at his arm or grab at his hand, grab at his thumb, really, right? And he looked like he was in a lot of pain. So he kept grabbing at that at hand, right? He kept grabbing at that hand, kept grabbing at that thumb. Looked like he was in a lot of pain, but he stayed in the game. I wasn't really concerned because he stayed in the game, but obviously you don't really know until the end of the game if anything is really serious or not. And then, and shout out to Fred Katz of The Athletic for giving us the following information here. I'm going to read off my phone, but I'll give it to you guys on the screen whenever I clip this. Fred Katz from The Athletic, shout out to him. He says, Karl-Anthony Towns was asked if he had a bone, Fred Katz from The Athletic says the following. Karl-Anthony Towns was asked if he had a broken bone in his hand after the game. He responded with the following. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm going to keep finding ways to play, so I ain't tripping. When he was asked if he underwent x-rays, he said, I'm going to let them tell you that. So he's not really confirming or denying anything regarding that hand, that injury, or if x-rays were done. However, did you hear how he responded when he was asked about it? If you have a broken bone in your hand after the game, it is what it is. What does that sound like to you? Because the way I hear that is, it is what it is. I have a broken bone in my hand. It is what it is. It's not going to stop me from playing because I'm going to do whatever I can to be there for my team. That's what it sounds like, which is admirable. Don't get me wrong. It's amazing. I praise him for that. But then that goes back to, is he really injured? Does he have a broken bone in his hand? Because if he has a broken bone in his hand, then offensively, you're probably not going to get the best version of Towns. And I believe he shot 5 for 18 during this game, only made 1 3. Notably, after making that 3, he kept grabbing at his hand because of all the hard fouls afterwards. So his hand didn't hurt him until really a little bit later into the game after those fouls. But if Karl-Anthony Towns, if Towns has an issue with that hand and he has to miss time, or he can't play the right way, or he's going to be ineffective on both ends because of that injury, the Knicks are in a very, very big situation here. Karl-Anthony Towns cannot miss time for New York. He is too important of a player to what we do, what we try to run. He is an advantage for New York because he presents a mismatch for the Celtics at nearly every area because of his skill set and his size. And anytime somebody's smaller on him, he's been a lot better with his IQ of shooting over that player. Karl-Anthony Towns, while he's not been the best and hasn't had that really big postseason game that we've been waiting for, he's been solid at a couple of different points in this series. He had a couple of great spots on defense and a couple of great plays on offense as well, too. Attacking inside, outside game. We've seen it. He is a very good piece to what the Knicks are doing and what we're running. However, the comments that he just said about his hand, it's concerning. You saw how much pain he was in. He looked like he was writhing in pain. There was one point he was hunched over, holding that hand. Nothing that anybody could say. Nothing. He wouldn't want to speak to anybody. He just wanted to ride out the pain till it kind of stopped throbbing, I guess, and then started to play again. And again, I want to praise the fact that he's trying to do that, trying to be out there for the team no matter what, no matter the injury, everything like that. I give him credit for that. Don't get me wrong. But that injury is problematic. And if players know about that injury, kind of like what they did to Steph Curry, they might target that hand. They might try to hit that hand and try to make it hurt for Karl-Anthony Towns. It's a competitive game. And the Boston Celtics understand how important Karl-Anthony Towns is. They're down in this series and they're down in this series and I think they'll do anything in their power to get back into this series. Even if that means take out Karl-Anthony Towns in a way that may not seem like they're taking him out. Play very physical and hard defense. That's not taking a guy out, but you know what you're doing when you do that. You're putting a lot of pressure on an area that this player doesn't want pressure on. And that's going to cause a lot of issues to arise, including pain and probably having issues with your game. And I think we saw that from Karl-Anthony Towns. So for anybody who missed it, let me read the update again. Fred Katz again reported that Karl-Anthony Towns was asked if he had a broken bone in his hand after the game. It is what it is, was Karl-Anthony Towns' response. I'm going to keep finding ways to play, so I ain't tripping. Regarding x-rays, I'm going to let them tell you that. I'm assuming let medical tell us that. But again, going back to what he said there, I ain't tripping. I ain't tripping regarding the injury. The only reason he's saying that is because he doesn't want everybody to worry or think it's something bad. It probably is bad. It probably does hurt. It probably is broken in some type of area there. We understood the type of thumb issue that Karl-Anthony Towns was already dealing with. So the fact that he may have more damage, that's not really a crazy stretch to think about, given how many games he's played, how much other players and other teams have been hitting it, and how often he does hold that thumb and try to kind of even it out or put pressure on it enough that it doesn't hurt him enough. So it's always been an issue, but now it's becoming more of an issue in the postseason and clearly affecting his game on both ends. If his thumb is going to cause problems like this, I don't know what the Knicks are going to do, because you can't replace him. You have to keep him out there. He's clearly not going to ask out. He's not going to tell anybody, I don't want to play. He's either going to have to be ruled out by medical, or the Knicks are going to have to make a decision and say, we're going to have to cut your minutes and play somebody else. They're not going to do that. Medical's likely not going to say he's not going to play. We're in the postseason. So the only thing you're going to do is exactly what Towns has been doing. Tape it up, wrap it up, and play on it. And that's what we're going to see Karl-Anthony Towns do, because it is what it is. This is the postseason. He can rest in the offseason. And right now, that's all that matters to him. Again, in some ways, I have to praise that, because that's toughness. That's being there for your team. And that's never wanting to give up. On the other side of that, though, if you're going to be a detriment to your team on offense and on defense, how much are you actually helping? So there is two ways to look at this. It depends on really how you want to look at it. But I can understand what Karl-Anthony Towns is saying. But the overall message that I got from that is that I'm hurt, but I'm playing. And again, you can feel the way you want to feel about that, but I'm concerned. I'm concerned about it. I'll be the one to say it. I don't mind. He's playing hurt, clearly. Other players are going to target him, clearly. And he's not going to be the same because he's hurt. So I just got to put that out there. Karl-Anthony Towns didn't have the best game. Clearly, I didn't know about the injury when I was talking about it. I saw him grab at it, but he always does that. So I didn't think it was anything crazy. But then, as I'm going to go do the roundup for you guys here today, and I'm looking through to see what things are popping up, I see that update from Fred Katz. I nearly dropped my jaw. You guys saw it in real time. You guys saw my real-time expression of the Karl-Anthony Towns news that potentially he has a broken bone in his hand. So, I mean, it can't get more real than that. And it really hurts. It really does. Because the Knicks are not this team without Karl-Anthony Towns. We need him. And it doesn't sound like he's going to miss any time, which I guess is good. But then what type of Karl-Anthony Towns are you going to get if he's dealing with all of these issues? That's kind of where I am with it right now. He's so important that you can't do without him, but he's that important that if he's injured, he's not going to do what you need him to do exactly. So is he as important, as impactful in that state? New York's going to have to make that decision. But if I know them and I hear everything else right here, the decision that they're going to make is doing the exact same thing, not changing anything. Towns will likely be starting for game 4, even if he has these issues. It's the postseason, like I said, and he's not going to rest. In his mind, he can rest in the offseason. Right now, it's about putting your best foot forward. Right now, it's about putting your best foot forward and trying to get to the NBA Finals, trying to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. We're 2 games away from that. He knows that. He's not going to stop. So that's where Karl-Anthony Towns is right now. I want to see if I have an update about it. Since last time I checked, you never know what you find. Any updates on Towns? No. The last thing I'm going to talk about today, guys. I've talked about this since preseason. A lot of people made fun of me when I talked about it in preseason. They said, you're crazy to talk about something like this in preseason, Troy, because it's preseason. Why would you talk about that? Habits. I talked about habits. A habit's a very hard thing to change. You have to put work in to change a habit, and it takes excessive work. If that habit's a team habit, it takes even more work from multiple people consistently. If you're injured, it really hurts everything that you're trying to build, whether that be offensively and defensively. But New York has been a poor three-point shooting team in terms of generating enough threes, and an extremely poor defensive team in terms of preventing teams from shooting the three. All preseason, all regular season, even in the postseason, we don't stop threes. We get lucky that teams don't hit threes. There's a big difference to that. Go back and look. I'm not even joking. Go back and look at the threes that the Knicks have allowed all postseason. I'm sure there's a video on it. At least some of them. Look how many people are near them. And they miss. But sometimes there's nobody near them. Or they're given a lot of space. I'm talking about you can fit 2 players in the space that we give them. That's not three-point defense. Running toward a player with your hand up, that's not three-point defense. Being up on your man, hand in his face, that's three-point defense. How do you get that? By switching. How do you do it properly? By communicating. They're not doing that. It's quiet. It's too quiet for New York. I hear the Celtics yelling, screaming, communicating out there. I hear Jaylen Brown the entire game. Where's our voice on the floor? Where's our defensive voice on the floor that's helping to lead us to defend these threes? Because we don't have it. We don't have it. Whatever we think we have from three, we don't. Our three-point shooting is bad, but the way we allow so much space on these threes, it's disrespectful to the game. You're leaving somebody so open. How? How do you do that? If the Knicks don't fix what they do from three, we're going to have a problem. You can't beat teams like this. You can't beat teams when you don't guard the three, when you allow so many open threes, and when you don't respond by not moving the ball, not moving yourself, not even trying to make it hard on the opposing team. Everything the Celtics did in game three was easy. Everything. Everything. All their offense was easy. Inside, they got in easily. Outside, easy off screens, easy open shots. All day, never rushed, in control. I could go on. It was bad. It was really, really bad. The Knicks need to do better. We can do better. I know we can do better as a team. But to allow that many threes, open threes, 20 for 40, 50%, ladies and gentlemen. 25 for 100 in game one and game two is what the Celtics shot from three. And then in game three, they shoot 20 for 40. Nearly all the threes they made in game one and game two, they made basically all of them combined in game three. Half uncontested, and I'm being generous when I say half. You're not beating teams like that. You're not beating the Celtics like that. You got to do a better job of guarding the three. And it starts with switching. It starts with our wings. And it starts with communication. If you don't talk, if you don't communicate, if you don't switch, if you don't even have the ability to look at others to let them know you're switching, we're going to get caught every time. And that's exactly what happened. Now, last topic. Talking about getting lost, right? Knicks bench. Pretty lost. Deuce McBride. I have a big problem with Deuce McBride. Very, very big problem with Deuce McBride. Not aggressive enough. Knicks are not getting him that many shots either, so it is coaching as well too. Knicks have to be able to find him more in 20 minutes. He should at least be having 10 attempts. You play 20 minutes, you should be having 10 attempts a game. 4 or 5 of them threes. Let's see what you can do. Let's see what you have. But come on, man. To get up only 3 shots when you're really the only player off the bench, and clearly we need more three-point shooting. We need more three-point shooting. Nobody is going to convince me otherwise. We are terrible. We can't buy a three. And our best three-point shooter, Landry Shamet, only plays garbage time. That's not weird to anybody else. Landry Shamet only playing garbage time when he can actually hit threes, make threes, do something of merit, of worth for this team. Honestly, sometimes if some players don't have it, why not try something else a little bit earlier, right? Why not in the third quarter, maybe around the 5-minute mark, when you're down, out of this game down, nobody has it going. No, Wingstop doesn't even have it going. Why not put Landry Shamet, Campaign, and others out there who can actually shoot threes and see what they can do? Experiment a little bit, adjust a little bit, try something, do anything. We're down. Nobody has it going. No one. We're lifeless out there. You don't think we want to try something maybe? Anything maybe? It's those adjustments that separate us. It's those adjustments that make us different. The Celtics, they responded. They made their adjustments. We saw it from the first quarter. They were going to lock us down defensively, make everything difficult, and they were going to attack inside the paint. They did that. Their stars did that. And once their stars started to do that, that three-point shot became available for them a lot easier because the Knicks were worried about their dribble drive. The Knicks were worried about their dribble drive, their ability to get inside the paint and kick it out to an open shooter. And they had a reason to worry because that's exactly what they did. New York can play better. It's probably the only thing anybody can rest their head on. That's the only thing. They're probably not going to play this bad again. Another thing you can rest your head on. But the bench, the lack of three-point defense, it's two of the biggest things that's hurting New York right now in the postseason. And if we can't correct those things, it's going to continue to hurt us. It's hard to recover when you don't get that much production from your bench and you are giving up threes like it's candy. It's not going to work. We need more. We need better. We need a better effort from the team, from the bench, from the coaching staff. Defensively, we should have more pride to not allow these guys to get so easy looks. Where's your pride? We're the Knicks. Where's your pride? I want to issue an apology to Madison Square Garden, to that arena, to the fans that spent their hard-earned money, all the money they spent for these expensive tickets to go to Game 3, to cheer on our squad, to be robbed of the opportunity to cheer for our squad because we're getting bludgeoned for the entire game, destroyed for the entire game. You didn't pay to see that. You didn't pay to watch that. But that's what you had to see. Embarrassing on so many levels. And the Knicks need to know that. They need to hear that. And I hope Tom Thibodeau is saying it. You had a chance to change everything, and you blew it because you didn't execute, you didn't come to play, and you allowed the Celtics to do whatever they wanted to do in your house. Disgusting performance. Hard to watch, brutal to watch. The Knicks need to do better. And I believe they will do better. But as for Game 3, Knicks did not execute, did not come to play, got blown off the floor, blown off the map. The Celtics, they were the better team. They looked like the championship elite team that we have been waiting to face all series long. Credit to them. They punched us in the face. What now? Couple of options. You can do nothing. You can walk away, or you can punch them back. You can knock them out. It's our turn. We're due for a big game. We're due for one. Jalen hasn't had it. Towns hasn't had it. Really, this Knicks team hasn't had it. And we're winning. Game 4, that's the game where New York puts it all together. We figure it out, and we dominate the Boston Celtics. Take game 4 and make sure everybody understands that it's 3-1. But until we do that, until we make that a reality, we have to accept what we saw. An embarrassing effort from a team that should give more, that we expect more from, and did not show up when they needed to show up for the home crowd that was waiting for them to show up. They didn't do anything. They have to live with that. They have to deal with that. But hopefully, it's something that they respond to in an amazing way come game 4, because that's what I'm expecting. Absolutely horrendous performance from a postseason team to play like that. The Knicks should be embarrassed. They've embarrassed themselves, embarrassed everybody watching on national TV, embarrassed everybody in that arena, and embarrassed all the Knicks fans at home to have to watch that on a Saturday before a lot of people probably have to go out or do things with their evening, probably ruining a lot of people's weekends. The time to respond is in game 4. I never want to see a performance like this again. The Knicks were outclassed and knocked down. Now, it's time for New York to get back up and start throwing our own haymakers, because we're due. And all of that happens in game 4. I feel it in my bones. Something big, something special is going to happen for New York in game 4. And I can't wait to see exactly what that is. But for game 3, embarrassment. We should be ashamed of ourselves. That's not New York Knicks basketball. And that is not enough for the postseason. Not going to get it done. But what about you guys? What do you think about the Knicks losing this game 93-115 and now leading this series 2-1? Let me know in the comments section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button. Leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.